What's going on, guys? Smack Talk number 5, going down myself and Big G's. We're back again. Another week closer to Power Slap number 7. Never a dull moment in Power Slap. We keep on getting the gifts that keep on giving. My man, it's just sitting there now, 2 weeks out. What do you think about this card?
Man, we're getting close to it. We've had some big shakeups. We've talked about those in the weeks in the past, but it's still shaping up to be an epic card. Starting off strong, Russell versus Cody, and then ending even stronger with the heavyweight title on the line. Ryan versus the Bell. This is one that Ryan's been he's been pining to get to this one over the last year. So it's going to be a major card, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, top to bottom, I think probably the best card put together. We've seen, it hasn't been official, but obviously Garrett Bleaksley breaking his hand is not going to be able to compete. So that leaves Colton Cole, one of the 8 fights that we have on the main card, obviously in flux. We put it out there on Instagram. Who you guys want to see? Either replace that, replace Garrett going up against Cole, or will we see another fight get bumped up to the main card? We know that there are some preliminary fights in the works that we hear swirling around. Nothing's been released officially yet on these early prelims. I feel like it's one of those things where they only want to give you what they need at this point to market and promote the show. As we get closer, once the medicals get taken place, everybody arrives in Vegas. I'm expecting you're going to see 3 or 4 more fights added to this card, and everybody will be able to see those live and free on Rumble. But, we see it time and time again, where putting these fight cards together change right up until the last minute. Even when they're announced, they can change after, as we're seeing what happened with Garrett Bleaksley. And so, I think they're just holding themselves, close right now before they give us the entire, fight card. Last time we had 12 matches, so I don't see why it wouldn't be the same,
I was going to say that, man. It's another card. They're selling tickets for this card again. 12 was an amazing setup. It flowed really well. But speaking of guys competing, we got shout out to everyone in the chat. First of all, thank you guys for being here. Yeah, solid. You pulled this up. So let's just address it, bro. I've spoken to both Azael and Static individually in response to the post that Wesley's been putting up. They are both still slated to compete. So that match is not going anywhere. It's a huge look for Static, dropping down to middleweight. And Azael kind of gets his chance to be like, nah, this is my house. So King Christian, shout out to you for putting that in there. But both of those guys are still confirmed for their match.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Wesley might be an alternate. Maybe it's one of those things. With a fight being on the main card, maybe they're going to fly him out there. I know he put up the call log that had Erica's phone number on it. I mean, it doesn't say much. Who knows why Erica was calling, honestly.
Yeah.
So, we can't really speculate any more than that. Wesley was pretty cryptic in the way that it was. And, from all accounts, as you said, from all the sources that we've had, Azael is in San Diego. He came back from the Caribbean. He's training, he's preparing, Static as well. Training. We know he's on weight. Both these guys have confirmed to us, both publicly and privately, that this is the match. Power Slap is promoting it on their website. I think anything else, for a lack of a better word, all the smoke is currently up in smoke as it talks to, the rumors that have been swirling. I think it's all for nothing, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, if we do get to see Wesley, I'll just go back to what I said last week. I'd love to see him and like a Brandon Bordeaux go at it. If that's in the cards, that's a good match for Wesley, and it's a great match for Brandon. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's talk about Colton Cole. A guy that we've seen one time, in Power Slap, currently 1-0. Who do we think should fill in? I mean, I didn't know what the results of the poll was last week.
Yeah, I still like someone like Alan Klingbeil, or like even a James Stonier. If he could, he said he loves to make weight. So if he could make weight and take a match like that, that'd be kind of cool. I think both of those guys are cut from a similar cloth in terms of being sick in the head and ready to bang at any time. So let's see. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Vern Cathy's always ready to go. Might be a bit too high of a jump up in the rankings form.
Sure.
Vern being a veteran. But I've said it again. I'll say, I'll repeat it also. I think Delvin Helmut is a guy that I want to see up there again. Obviously he went up against Vern, wasn't able to get the job done, but I would definitely like to see, I think Delvin Helmut would be a great, fill-in for Colton Cole, a guy that we know naturally, as you see in the show, walks around, that, what was it, kind of 217 type of thing. So I think he should be able to make the weight, even though he wasn't able to make it for the Vern fight. Not sure what happened there. But I think someone like that, like you said, Alan Klingbeil, also someone who's always ready to go. We know he's chomping at the bit. Hopefully everything with his work and stuff like that allows him to be there, because I think he could be a great fill-in for this. And obviously, as we know, there's, a multitude of fights in the light heavyweight division. So I'm sure they have somebody that they've been grooming to bring out to Vegas as an alternate. We've got Russell Rivera versus, Cody Belial. We also have Austin Turpin versus Wolverine. So somebody there in that top 4, 5, 6, has got to be an alternate, ready to fill in. We just don't know that yet. Possibly maybe the fight contract isn't signed, or the medicals haven't been cleared yet. So that we could be waiting for that announcement to come if they are indeed going to keep Colton Cole on this main card, or if they're going to bump up these other fights that are presumably being rumored as an early prelim that hasn't been announced yet. So, did I see a Ryan Wallace post come up?
Yeah, Ryan Wallace in the chat. We got some of the Jimmy Jumps just showed up. What's up, Jimmy? He said Allen would be dope. It's been a minute. I agree with that. I think Allen could stand to compete again, keep himself in the sport. Like, a lot of things have changed, a lot of new guys, but Allen could come back and, remind people that, listen, I've been here since season 1.
Yeah, I actually tried to get Jimmy Jumps on right before this. We had some technical difficulties. We weren't able to get him on, but we'll get him back. We know he's the king of teabagging, and he's calling a lot of people out, want to get in that 155 category. Obviously, we know Jimmy Jumps, last time we seen him at 170. He's been chomping at the bit to get back in there, 155. Yeah. We'll see where that goes. Who knows? We know that they're calling for it on season 3. Will we see Jimmy Jumps, get onto the reality show? Not too sure, but it's great to see him active. Great to see him here on the chat. As always, we're seeing him, in the social. We're seeing him hit the bob. We're seeing him going over to, train with Dwayne Crespo and Ryan Wallace as well. From what I know, especially, man, being in the winter, from where he's at to getting up to like Rochester area, I mean, that's going to be a 5-6 hour drive for him. So quite the commitment to make it, to go train with those cats.
For sure, man.
Dwayne Crespo putting him through the cardio, making sure he's going to be ready to go when he gets that call. So
for sure, man. And I'll say this about Jimmy, man. I've seen the videos online, seen him swinging at that bob. He's still got that rubber arm technique that he's got going for him, but bro keeps his feet planted. And that is amazing. If he can translate power with that feet planted, he could be quite dangerous moving forward.
Yeah. What else we got? So we got Coach. We got Vince, who's a loyal follower of us. We appreciate you as always, my man. Coach, for season 3, where do we think that's going? So rumors are definitely swirling. We're hearing May that they're planning to obviously, be able to film this. We see Dana has the open call out for people to join, all the way from 155 up to super heavyweights, including the women's division. I think this one here, I think they're going to get very, very strategic. Last, road to the title, there was a deficit at the heavyweight division in terms of talent. We see that addressed with season 2. I think they're really going to go for the edges on this one. I think you're going to see 155 become legitimate. I think you're going to see them try to get some more influx of talent into the super heavyweights as well. And I really think you're going to see them try to put an emphasis on the women's category. I wouldn't be surprised if we see 4 to 6 women on the next road to the title. Be interesting to see. I mean, it'll be interesting to see with that mix. Are they going to have the women in the house or not? How all that's going to work. Maybe it's just too crazy. I'm not particularly sure, but I think it's fairly safe to say that, the next women's match that we see in Power Slap will not include Sheena Bathory. And I also think we're going to see that percolate out, because we're seeing more and more so now. In the early get-go, we were getting 3-4 title matches on a number card. Now we're seeing that number, drop down. This one we were lucky to get 2. And I think they're going to have to add that 155 in. They're going to have to add the women in to at least be able to give us 2 title fights every single time, especially when, suspensions and injuries come into the fold, having those extra classes. But let's talk coaches. Who do we think would be good? I mean, I know I said last time, I personally think the Crazy Hawaiian would be an amazing coach for season 3. And I think what you do in that particular instance is you peg him up against the winner of Dane Viernes, his brother, and Evian Scott. I know Evian is young and raw, but if he can go in there and knock out that number 1 contender, you peg both those guys in the super heavyweight division, going at it in the show, leading into whatever number card it's at, and have those coaches go at it for that belt, I think makes a lot of sense. We know these big guys, why they add super heavy. Why are the super heavies always on the main card? It's because people want to see it, and they're the mainstay attraction. So I think that makes a lot of sense. So sure. I'm definitely going there. I know you spoke last time about the women, Jeeves.
Yeah.
Do we think we've got two women that could potentially be the coaches? We've seen it with Tough.
Yeah, man. Honestly, if it's going to be anybody, I think the way Power Slap 6 played out, the arc that they could have with Sheena and Jackie as coaches, let's look at it. They both have amazing resumes. They're both in some sort of discipline of martial arts. They have experience. They've been through the ringer in that arena. I think that plus the arc of how the match ended could make for something really exciting. And to cap it all off, if I had my way, they would christen the women's title with that finale. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The only other thing that I can see right there is we also have John Davis right now, who is actually sitting there kind of waiting in the wing. Obviously, he hasn't had, hasn't defended his title in a little bit here. But, John Davis could make a great coach as well, could also do a lot for him and his stock. To show off some of his personality, get him in front of the camera, give him more of that screen time, try to become more of a household name, as the title holder, and peg him up against, someone else in that middleweight division, whoever it be. Very well could be Azael Rodriguez, who obviously stole the show on Road to the Title #1 with his drunkenness, could kind of come full circle back with him as a coach, and/or Static, who was also a superstar on the show. If you remember how heavily they were marketing Static going into Power Slap #1. So
he brings views, man. Whether you want to see Static knock someone out or to see Static get knocked out, the views are coming. And that's a great arc there. And John's just not any champion. Let's not forget, he's the last original champion left standing from when the titles were handed out. So to give John that shine, I think it's great. Like that arc of the winner of, let's say, Azael and AJ as coaches, as the coach against John, would be pretty dope for season 3 as well.
Yeah. I definitely think so. A lot to go around there. What's that?
What about this one right here from the king himself? Me and Terp will be coach after we win titles. That would be epic. The energy, like we saw what Terp did at Power Slap 6, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then to have Ryan on the opposite end of that'd be kind of cool.
Well, I think on that one, let's see. Terp has no problem going up in weight. So I think we could have that one at heavyweight. We've seen Terp walking around there at Power Slap #6, and I don't know what he was, 255, 260 or something. He looked like a bag of milk and a couple sausages, hanging off him there. So I mean,
he's training hard right now. Let's see what he looks like.
At,
against Ron, because that's a big match, man.
For sure. So we'll see. Yeah. I mean, imagine that. Could you imagine the trash talking on that? That would be like, I think you'd have to have like an 18 rating on it and play it after midnight or something, because that show would be.
It might be the first event where the coaches get a face off.
Yeah. Well, obviously we've seen Chris throw a punch at Manny. I think between Ryan and Austin, I think that would get ratcheted up a little bit more. So.
This might get us banned, but here you go, Ryan.
There we go. Yeah. So like we said, Ryan Phillips, Damien DeBell, I talked about it last week. I mean, potentially legendary matchup in the making, I think. Really, like I said before, going up against Wolverine, versus, Darius the Destroyer, Power Slap #1, everything that was going into that. Once again, the heavyweight division, just like boxing and MMA too, the heavyweights always, bring that attention, bring that power. And, when you bring in the athleticism that these guys have, these guys are showing, it's quite something else. I mean, could you argue that Damien DeBell and Ryan Phillips, with that soul slicer that he has, could be two of the best strikes hands down,
Oof.
pound for pound in Power Slap?
Honestly, yeah. I mean, to see what Ryan's been able to do after being out with the injury that he was out with, it has been amazing. And, the energy that Ryan brings, I think he has, like, correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan's here in the chat, but I feel like he still comes in there ready to prove himself and having that chip on his shoulder, which I think also makes him very dangerous. There's no cruise control for this guy. He's always trying to prove himself.
Yeah, no, I think so. You know what? We're seeing the evolution of Ryan Phillips. Obviously, the injury kind of set him back a little bit, but the guy had a ton of self-confidence to come through it, to be able now to take on two massive victories with top-rated guys, continue to climb that ladder, getting this opportunity against Damien DeBell, someone that he knows really well, obviously from the show, and to be able to continue on this journey. I think regardless of the outcome, in this particular match, if you're betting in Vegas, I would say stay away from it because I think it's going to be way more fun. You'd be happy for both guys. I mean, honestly, however this match goes, we know it's going to be a war. We know it's going to go deep. And we know both these guys, will be great champions regardless. It'll be entertaining, great for the sport. And super excited for this, to kind of unfold. But let's talk about that co-main event, Wolverine and Austin Turpin. I want to say this was marketed for a long time since Power Slap 6. We had
almost
these guys
right away.
as the coaches. Right away, we knew they were going to square off before we knew about the main event between Ryan Phillips and Damien DeBell. I haven't been hearing much since that announcement about Wolverine and Austin.
Yeah.
What do you think it is? Is it crunch time?
I hope that's what it is. Let's be real. Maybe Austin's evolving in his game. Maybe he's not being so loud and we haven't heard him. He's obviously been posting here and there, but it's definitely not the Austin we saw the first time around with the trash talk and this and that. And Wolverine, he is on the quieter side a little bit. So that's to be expected, but not hearing from Turpin is, I think, the wild card for me. I don't know if it's going to be beneficial. Maybe he's in the lab working. He's got something up his sleeve. But yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I haven't heard much because the loudest guy in the room hasn't said anything.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I mean, we never hear anything from Ron. I mean, outside the interviews that we do from him, I've got a direct connection to Ron, and I get 3-4 words every once in a while. But a guy of his caliber, doesn't need to say anything really. I mean, he shows up, shows out, continues to put up victories. When you're the champ, you can kind of do what you want in that regards. But I don't know if you guys haven't seen it. Origins on YouTube. One of the pieces that I'm most proud of that we've been able to produce over the time. You'll see Ron talk for the better part of 20 minutes. I never thought you'd see Ron talk that much. Period. But we'll get into his childhood, be able to talk about the motivations going into this matchup as well. So if you haven't checked it out, Origins with Wolverine, let us know. I mean, let us know in the comments right now. Did you guys watch it? Did you guys like that format? If you guys want us to see, want to see us do more of this, it's something that we're planning right now. By the time we get down to Vegas, Power Slap number 7, we're going to be in there early. And we're really trying to hone in the type of content that we're going to be doing. And if you guys like the Origins type of format, we'll definitely set something up there to try and do another one. So let us know. Let us know what you guys think. If there's anything else that you guys want us to do, do you guys want to see more behind the scenes stuff? Do you guys want to see us go live more? Do you want to see us hanging out in the hotel lobby, walking down Fremont with strikers? Do you want to see the mukbang with the super heavyweights? I mean, we got a lot of opportunities, different things, access to some of these guys to do some pretty cool stuff. And if you guys who follow us, and I know you guys, do quite often, but let us know, in the comments, send us a DM of what you guys are really liking and what you guys want to see, because we want to make sure that we tailor this content directly for it. But I do want to bring up before, is there a comment you want to talk about in the
No, I was just going to say, let us know who you guys want to see on an Origin. Who do you want to know more about? Who Who do you guys want us to sit down with? Stuff like that. So yeah, go ahead, bro.
All right, man. I want to get to my favorite feature, the only feature of the show.
The Slap News garage sale. Let's go.
Let's
What do
go.
we got up?
So we got Garrett Blakesley selling his motorbike, a 2007 Honda VTX. I wonder if this is the culprit of the broken wrist, which is why it's for sale.
It's either that or he can't ride it now because of the broken hand or whatever. So what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah. So if you're in mid-state Ohio and in the market for a motorcycle, Garrett Blakesley might be your guy. I actually know a guy who might want this.
On this.
I know a guy who needs this.
Mm-hmm.
Don Jacob needs this bike. He needs a signed motorbike. That's the guy who needs it.
Get the Power Slap paint job on it. Just roll up to the Apex on every event night.
Exactly. We should store for him in Vegas. Just see him ripping around.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. On the other side, we've got Anthony Blackburn. He's got an old chair for sale, $30. What a steal of a deal on this antique from Anthony Blackburn. Often these guys are coming off the couch into Power Slap. Anthony Blackburn's coming off the couch 25 days before to go up against Chris Thomas. He's getting out of this chair. You can own a piece of history.
Yeah,
Anthony
he
Blackburn
doesn't need it
chair
anymore.
that he gets out of.
Yo, that's kind of a cool chair. Like, hey, Anthony, if you're willing to bring it in Vegas, we'll film Origins in that chair.
It's gonna cost you more to ship it out there than the chair.
Add it to as a part of our road kit.
Yeah. Too funny, man. But yeah, for sure, man. I mean, we keep hearing, talks. We hear the rumors of some of these fights on the undercard, and I keep talking about it. But we got James Sass, Billy Stonier, Corey Corbin.
That match of the year, bro. That one might be the Power Awards sweep of next year.
Yeah. Where do we think this one's gonna go?
Yo, we've seen what Sass Billy can do and what he can't do. Very clearly. We've seen this now, right? Corey Corbin, we have no basis of comparison to go off it. Could he be an absolute ringer after all this? You know what I mean? Like all the memes, all the comments, this, that. What if Corey Corbin's just a fucking ringer and he's the most dangerous guy to step into Power Slap? That would be fucking unreal.
Yeah. I mean, James Stonier, obviously we seen him come in. We were able to see him when he was an alternate, kind of, getting out there in Vegas. Went up to super heavy. He's got the intangibles, the guy that you want to like, being able to clean up his life, stop drinking, be able to, kind of get his life in order. But he's left a lot to be desired. He hasn't been able to put guys away. He hasn't been able to knock them out. And granted, I'm not sure what it is. We're going to see him go up against Corey Corbin, hopefully on a live event. Hopefully it's not taped. And, we'll be able to go. We got Jimmy Jumps is mad. Yeah, I know why.
I was just laughing at that.
I know why he's mad. He's mad because Corey Corbin got a call and he didn't. But, you know what, man? I don't know. Last time I checked, Corey Corbin's got a better record than you, than Jimmy Jumps.
He's technically undefeated. I'll always say that, bro.
He's still undefeated.
He's undefeated. I'll say that this is a good question.
Man, I'm just joking.
We got another good question from Droop. So this is a true fan. So you've obviously been watching since the beginning, and you noticed that they've sort of done away with the pre-fight press conference type of it. There is still post-fight press conferences that we will stream. So subscribe to our YouTube. Post every fight, we get to do the press conference with the winners. So we'll be there for the post anyway.
Yeah. So, but he says pre.
Oh, the pre. Okay, excuse me. So you specifically said the pre. Yeah.
So yeah. So I mean, I think we only seen that for
1 and 2.
Well, there was might be 2 press conferences, and then they did do a media availability for the one that Christine Wolmarantz and Sheena Bathory was on.
Yeah,
I believe was that July of last year that they did.
That was probably International Fight Week.
Okay, very well
opened up PI.
Exactly, very well.
Yeah.
So We haven't seen it since. We've seen they kind of have a truncated, fight week now. They've done away with media availability, done away with the pre-fight press conference. And, we aren't getting anything from that. From the media standpoint, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, even the weigh-ins, the last time Powerslap number 6, the only news outlet that was in that room was Slap News. There was nobody else there. So, maybe just at this time, it's not hitting the mainstream media, to be able to get in there and cover it. I don't know why. I mean, on fight night, the media shows up, but they don't show up for the pre-fight stuff. So not particularly sure why they got away with the media side of things. Seems like it's going to be like that for a little bit, just with the way things are going. And I mean, now obviously with the advent of streaming and being able to broadcast their stuff to Rumble and stuff like that, they can run a lot of these events and pre-hype it and post them directly to Rumble without having the media in that particular room. Not that I want to give them any suggestions, but
do away with all of it.
But if the media is not going to show up, then you know what? They rightfully deserve so. Like, if you're not going to show up, but you show up on fight night to get a free ticket to show up and sit in the stands, why aren't you showing up to do your job and to cover the event? And that means, everything through and through. So
it's a big undertaking. Like, it looks really simple. The guys are just coming on stage, but there's probably 20 to 50 people at work in that building just to make that happen. So hopefully they take it a little bit more seriously, because we do.
Yeah. So we got another one here about some of the documentary style long form comment.
Cool.
So Darius and Wolverine to Crazy Hawaiian, some of the OGs, definitely. I mean, it's great to see guys that have the experience, obviously, to see that, to have that experience, that have been around, that have these stories to tell, like for a guy like Ron, to be able to talk about the early days and the things that he got on, fighting multiple matches, in one night, having unlimited rounds. Like, you want to hear those stories, but where it was and where it is now. And, obviously being timely and relevant too. So that's the other thing that we want to do also, is we want to keep these timely and relevant, when we know guys that are having fights coming up, when they're in that limelight, to be able to talk about stuff like that and really, do it justice. So what's Ryan saying now in the chat?
I like this one. Ryan always keeps it real at the press conferences. So definitely they only show up to talk to Dana. Hey man. And Ryan, you've seen it. It's all UFC questions at the Powerslap press conference. It's like everybody who didn't get a chance to ask their questions the night before, they use Powerslap to get the last of the clips out.
Totally, man. Which is funny, but of course I'm that asshole going into the UFC press conferences and asking about Powerslap. Do it the other way around.
It's so good.
Funny.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, no, like Ryan had said, he's like, wait till I win, and they're sitting there. So yeah, Ryan, we can't wait to see you, brother. You know how it goes. All the winners get the press conferences.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going back to the Apex again. It's kind of something that they didn't really even talk about, to be honest with you. They kind of just rolled it under the carpet. Oh, we're just going back to Apex, put tickets on sale. From all regards, it looks like tickets are actually, selling relatively well. What I think is interesting is they're using a dynamic ticket pricing model. Actually,
it's quite interesting.
Hey, look at that. They actually are sold out now. And I just found that right there.
Amazing. Breaking news. Powerslap 7 is sold out.
It is, yeah. But we've seen it. We've seen the gold package go from $495 up to $795. And I believe it was at $895 the last time I seen it. Now it's sold out Apex. So at this point, you can only watch, if you don't have tickets, live and free on Rumble, April 12th. Coming up.
That's a sign for you guys for the next one. Get your tickets early, because number one, the dynamic pricing, the supply and demand, so they will get more expensive as the time goes on. And number two, they're going to sell out. We're 10 days out from the event. There's nothing left. So I don't know how big the scalping market is for Powerslap just yet, but get them early.
No, couldn't agree more with you. Anything else on here that is interesting, exciting to you guys? You see the entire card, the 8 matches. Obviously, we know Garrett Bleaksley is out, Colton Cole. What match are you guys excited about? You guys want to talk about any of the other matches and kind of what we think about? Let us know in the comments section. Jeeves, what do you think? Any of these that you're kind of circling on as you watch TV?
yeah, we don't talk about this any too much, but we're getting to see Isaiah come back. You know
Mhm,
what I mean? Going against Ryan the Joker, he's training with Dwayne, so we know he's he's going to be coming ready.
mhm,
And Isaiah, we haven't seen him since Power Slap 1, and he's in a totally different weight division now. So this
mhm,
match I'm excited for because I think I've said before, like the Isaiah and Russell fight was one of my favorite matches to date.
mhm.
So I'm excited to see Isaiah come back and see what he can do.
Yeah. No, and I think you're definitely right. You know, the chin of Isaiah is, has been put on display, obviously with Russell Rivera being able to take some of those massive
Mm.
bombs that he was taking from him. So it's even going down against Ryan Wallace, who we know is a technician training under Dwayne Crespo.
Mhm.
From what we talked to him, the amount of studying that he does in regards to trying to perfect it. So we're gonna see Ryan Wallace definitely be put to the test. I think Isaiah is probably going to be one of, I mean, he's going to be a real tough competition for him. Isaiah's got a ton of experience back to chin check. We know he's been
Yeah.
around a very, very long time, in this. And so we'll see. Ryan definitely has the motivation going for him. We know he's got a lot on the line,
Mhm.
for his, power slap career as well. I mean, to get a victory in this would be massive for him to kind of get himself up in that ranking and keeping him relevant within the division. So he's got a lot to go for. We know he's got his family that he's taking care of, and he takes this incredibly seriously. That's one thing that I actually really appreciate about Ryan. Is his work ethic and
Mhm.
want and his ability to get out there, make a name for himself, time and time again. So yeah, that's an interesting one. I mean, I'm super excited. I think AJ coming down to 185 is a big deal
Yes.
for that division. I
Very
think
exciting.
just as we talked about before, the Ryan Phillips match, up against Nate Bernard, that number one contender match that we knew going into Power Slap number 6. This
Mhm.
this one is Azael and Static. That
Yeah.
is that marquee one for the middleweight division that the winner is going to get John Davis after. There's no way they can't give, John Davis next opponent coming out of this match. And
Yeah.
so, I think this one has that potential making of fireworks, for it. I don't know. I'm going to ask you, Jeeves, if you
Mhm.
put John Davis's chin versus AJ's chin,
Mhm.
how do you think it goes?
I think that one goes to decision, bro. Because
No, no.
they've
I
both
sorry, I'm sorry.
sorry.
I'm saying John. I'm saying Azael has fought John Davis multiple
Oh, I see
times
what
now.
you're saying. Okay, okay.
I'm just saying, do we
Um,
think Static's chin is equal to John? Is it better than John? Worse than John?
so we've seen AJ against some of the head like he's coming down from light heavyweight. And at light heavyweight, let's put 2023 into perspective.
Mhm,
He won the title and then defended it every single time. So he's gone against the best of the best in the light heavyweight division. I say all this to say Azael's got his work cut out for him, I think. Because
mhm,
this is a guy who we've seen defend his title, what, 4 times last year? Do you
mhm.
see what I'm saying? At 6 events. So, but at that, we've also seen Azael end some guys in pretty definitive ways. So, fuck, man, that's a tough question. I'm circling the drain here because I don't know. I like it. It remains to be seen for me, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, we're going to find out, coming up next week.
Mhm.
We are going to find out specifically what happens in that particular match. And
Yeah,
we'll see how it goes because it is obviously lining up. We've got some people asking about Power Slap number 8. I can't
yeah,
really find that comment real quick,
I
but
got you.
Power Slap number 8, we're anticipating it right now that it's going to be International Fight Week, the last week in June that
Yeah,
we're in Power Slap number 8. I mean, we're sitting now, just turned to April. We've typically seen, 8 weeks between events lines up perfect for the end of June. I can't see them doing it any sooner.
mhm,
But I wouldn't put it past them. We've seen it come back in July and August, but just with the momentum, the way that they're aligning and their scheduling, we think the last week of June makes perfect sense for International Fight Week. And correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that where they've actually talked about Connor coming back for that card?
yeah. That's
Fight Week.
the. It was rumors for a bit, and
Yeah.
then I think within 48 hours, it was kind of confirmed that that's going to be the
Mhm.
one. And makes the most sense. Build that event as high as you can.
Totally. Which can be, another big one. We know they obviously will try to align as many title fights as they possibly can for that particular event. I kind of see that becoming almost the World Series or the Super Bowl of Power Slap ends up becoming that International Fight Week. I think it makes a lot of sense that becomes one of the biggest cards, so we'll see, guys. I think you'll see the Crazy Hawaiian, because I do believe the winner of Dane and Evian Scott will be up there. So I think you can see that as your headlining match. I think we talked about John Davis being away. I think we'll see that. And then I think, very, very foreseeable that we'll see, maybe we see, Emmanuel Muniz coming back.
Yeah.
Actually in that one. And/or, we could see an opportunity of, the winner of the Bell and Ryan Phillips defending. So
and whatever may happen with the show in May as well. There might be something that makes that event even more exciting. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I don't. Are we talking about the show in May or are we not?
I think we've roughly mentioned that we think that May is probably when they're going to do it. So that's just, again, it just goes with the timeline of when Power Slap 8 might happen. It's that end of June, early July with International Fight Week kind of thing.
Totally. But interesting to see the dynamic of them coming back, doing the casting, doing the filming, which is, slated to be in May, allegedly.
Excuse me.
Allegedly. And, seeing him come back in short order, so we're going to get 2 Road to the Titles this year. Very interesting to see, where we had a year gap between last time, comes back even shorter this time, but correct me if I'm wrong. Do they run 2 toughs a year, or do they only run one?
Someone in the chat's going to have to confirm that, but
I think our is in there somewhere. So I think he'll be able to let us know. But coming back, seeing it. But in a lot of ways, I think we've seen a bit of a slowdown from the time that they released this card. Doesn't it feel like we're in a bit of a lull right now? Kind of that 10 days out. Are you feeling the same thing I am?
You know what? I might say, I'll circle back to it. I think it's because Austin's off the radar. Usually he gives us something every couple days to keep like the juice going. Static's been unusually quiet as well, because this is his big unveil, and I totally understand why he's doing it. But like it you'd think for a card this big with like Ryan Phillips main carding, challenger for the heavyweight, we'd see a little bit more billing, but maybe just because we're so engrossed in it, we just don't maybe have blinders on, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ryan Phillips is the only one that I've seen actually going out and doing, interviews, podcasts, stuff like that. I haven't seen too much from Damien DeBell. I've seen nothing from Wolverine outside of obviously our interview that we did. And we, like I said, haven't seen much from Austin. So a lot of these key guys haven't really been, getting in front of, too much. But obviously when they get to Vegas, things will change. Power Slap will take over. We'll, push them to the media outlets that they need to do. But
for sure.
From right now, things just kind of seem in a bit of a lull. But I mean, they sold out. So what more can you ask for? They got a sold out card. They got a sold out card. I do know that there was some advertising on the UFC this past weekend.
That's cool.
So, they're still continuing to push that. But, we talked a lot too about, event promotion and how you market it. And the UFC's been kind of dogged for, not marketing their events soon enough. But I think they're actually onto something. The final week leading in the fight is where you have to advertise the most. Obviously, these next 7 to 10 days, we're going to see the advertising being ratcheted up. People are going to put it in the calendars. And, Power Slap number 6 had the highest streaming rating of any of the Power Slaps. Immediately after the event, they had over 2 million unique individual users sign on to the live stream at some individual point. So we know that is continuing to build. Literally click on our videos, go down and look at the most recent and look at the views. I mean, 3 months ago, we were getting 100 to 300 views on our videos. And now you'll see some of the top guys right now are approaching 1,000, 1,500, 1,800 views on their interviews, and like put it into perspective, go over to a lot of the big UFC media guys that do interviews in the same style that we do. And to be quite frank with you, they range from 100 to 600 views for the majority of these interviews. Some of the bigger guys, don't get me wrong, they'll view up into the 3, 4,
For
5,000. But I mean, now we're reaching that apex where we're getting up to 1,500 views, 1,800 views. That just shows you, that's literally 5x where we were at Power Slap 6.
Yeah.
And it's now getting to be half of, take like literally half of what some of these UFC guys are doing in relatively short order with guys that, aren't necessarily as big a household names. And so it's great to see that following is continuing to percolate out, and people are actually wanting to know more about the fighters behind the scenes than just the action that takes place. Because I mean, that was something we always talked about early on, was like, oh, it's great that people are watching Power Slap, but it wasn't necessarily translating to them wanting to go on Google and search to know more about these fighters. And I mean, that's a direct correlation also to the social media following that these fighters have had. We've seen that very small social media followings in the start, and now we're seeing more and more guys, their social media numbers continue to increase. Not only just the big names, your crazy Hawaiians, your Sheena Bathory, but we're seeing a guy like Vern Cathy now just past 10,000 followers for a milestone for old man Vern being able to be relevant on the gram. Who would have thought it?
Totally, man. And you bring up a good point. People aren't just stumbling on it anymore; they're actually actively searching for the people that they're interested. And so it's cool to see. So the sport's definitely growing. People are intrigued by it. And you know what it is, bro? I've been saying this from the beginning. If you just give Power Slap the shot and just don't hold it to a standard, don't hold it to the standard of MMA, don't hold it to the standard of boxing, just enjoy it for what it is, Power Slap's fucking amazing. So once people get over that hump, I think it'll get even better.
I couldn't agree more with you, my man. Entertaining product, from start to finish. ADD and can't, pay attention.
I love it.
Incredibly short window of time.
Yeah.
And just the production quality. Dana's talked about it. Like, there's so many cameras, so many angles, the instant replays that they're able to put up. Obviously we've been there for every Power Slap, up until this point. And it's like, after the event, I need to go home and watch it. And I'll tell you, it's a totally different experience.
Oh yeah.
Watching it in person versus watching it on the broadcast. And I mean, the broadcast is a very good experience. Very good. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I've been to football games live and I watched it on TV. And I mean, watching football live is a million times better. 100%. But it's like, you go and watch the broadcast, it's almost equally as good. Like, flat out, like the commentating that they're doing, the replays, the angles, being able to hear, because you actually hear more on the broadcast. You hear the coaches yelling on the broadcast because the stage is actually mic'd. You hear more intricacies. Like, when we were there at Power Slap 6, we didn't know why McKinney Manu's fight stopped. But if you watch back and you could hear the ref and you hear the doctor actually talking on the camera, you knew more than we did actually being there in the audience. So you get a totally different perspective of it by actually watching that broadcast. And so, I just, you have to commend everybody who puts that together, because it's definitely, top of the line for sure.
For sure, man. It's super immersive. Like, even them adding in the cameras to the glasses for the catchers and stuff, like it really helps you feel like you're there.
No, totally, man. Is there anything else in terms of, special catchers, coaches, anything we're going to see on this particular show? Power Slap 7. Well, what are you hearing?
For the super heavies, they brought in the strongmen. Man, I'm going to embarrass myself here. The guy's name's escaping my mind, but we had a UFC fighter. Maybe somebody in the chat can let me know, but he was catching for Power Slap 6.
Anthony, the heavyweight. That's who you're talking about, right?
The bald guy.
Yeah, Anthony. What's his last name? I should know this, but yeah, keep going. It'll come to me.
So basically, Anthony Smith. There it is. Yeah. So, like, they've had some cool crossover type stuff,
Mhm.
man, I think everybody would love to see if someone from WWE came over and like did a spot. I think that would be the ultimate crossover if they can work that out somehow. Thank you, chat. Solid. We got.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's great to see the crossover. I think there is that opportunity there. I think we want, as purists of the sport, for them to keep it pure and obviously
Mhm.
not have it turn into a sideshow. Because
Yeah.
I literally just seen a highlight of last year's WrestleMania that had KSI in a Prime bottle and Logan Paul jumping off the top rope and
Yeah,
landing
it's a
on him. You're
carnival.
like, why are you coming out in a costume, dude? Like, this is WrestleMania and you're in a mascot outfit. Like,
Yeah,
please to
yeah,
God, I hope they never have a talking, walking Bud Light can come up on the stage at Power Slap.
yeah.
Like,
Or a monster can.
yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it just doesn't make to be exciting to me if you're going to turn it into a sideshow, which I hope they don't. And I think, obviously Frank has been very, very cautious of that.
Yeah.
Frank doesn't want this to turn into a circus. He doesn't want this to be labeled or seen, as being something that isn't taken as legitimate. And,
Yeah. A joke,
there's
basically. I want to be seen like a
100%,
joke. Yeah.
100%. Who are you hearing season 3? Are you hearing anybody talking to you about potentially being casted? We know our man Vince. We got to get Vince on the show one of these days. We know he potentially is in the running. We know he's been, campaigning incredibly hard. Chin Reaper, we're seeing, taking shots at Sean Kilmartin also.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised with how hard Jimmy Jumps is pushing right now if he earns himself a spot on that show. Like, I think he deserves it. He really wants to prove himself. So if they can find him a worthwhile contender, I think that's great. It'll be cool to see because Road to the Title 2, for the most part, was all new guys. So are we, and then, we got to see the faces that were kind of like honing their skills, the guys who have been in the realm for a bit. So it'll be cool to see. I have heard, his name's escaping me, but he said he had an interview with Power Slap, and I wished him all the best. I didn't hear anything back from it, but I'm the worst with names.
Yeah. Do we think we're going to see an international flair this time around, or do you think they're going to keep it domestic?
So I think, how do I put this being polite? I don't know if the adjustment these guys are able to make it for Power Slap. Like, their rule sets and their, let's say, actually not their rule sets, their lack of rules there make this a totally different sport, right? So there would have to be some tacticians from overseas, not just because if it's just power that we're seeing, like incredible knockouts, this, that, it sometimes doesn't translate to the rules that are in place of Power Slap and the Nevada State Commission. You know what I mean? So if we see some guys, I hope we do, because there are some killers out there. If we see some guys, I hope they can hang.
No, I hear you. It's feeling like we're going to get a mix again. What I mean by that is we're going to get guys that we've seen before versus some of the new guys. I think we're going to continue to see that because I feel like, some guys that may not have the best records in Power Slap right now, try to give them that opportunity to try to cut their teeth in a second chance to be able to have an opportunity to try to get back in that top 10 rank. Because now we're seeing the rosters grow. We don't have an official number, but we'll have to make sure to ask it in either the pre or post-fight press conference of how big their roster is right now. Last time we got the update, I believe it was 120 strikers under contract, and so we only ever see, the top 10 in each division. So we see 40 strikers on the roster of that 120. And so are they going to start trying to bring some of these guys back that they feel have that opportunity to jump up into the top 10? And so just think about that, 120 athletes. Okay.
Yeah.
And you've got top 10 rankings. In the UFC, they have over 700 athletes under contract, and they actually have the top 15.
Yeah.
You're talking that massive jump up, and there's actually only 5 extra spots, that they market and promote to. And, for a lot of it, that top 15 obviously is definitely prestigious. And we're seeing now that some of these weight classes in power slap are becoming more and more competitive. Guys that we know, guys that we've seen, even like Cody Cox, for example. I guess you can call him a veteran now, but guys that aren't even ranked anymore, that you still think that you could still see more of, or guys that you would still want to see more of that aren't ranked anymore. Is Bear Bennett still ranked, or did he get dropped?
Oh, good question.
I'm not even sure, to be honest with you.
It's a good theory and way to get guys, because so we've seen two things, right? With power slap, reps matter. We've seen guys get better as their careers go on, as long as they're getting to compete. And number two, there's no real way to spar in this and get good at that part. So if to your point, Corey, if they're bringing guys in to sort of cut their teeth, right? It's a perfect zone to do it in and build some of these guys up that, like you said, that maybe we haven't seen the most from, or stand to get a shot, Totally.
We did see a fight announcement earlier that I guess we'll talk about it. I mean, Joe Landman confirmed that he is going to go up against the new Hawaiian Ka Ali, however you say his name.
Super sorry, dude.
But we obviously had him on the show. At that point, we didn't talk about the opponent whatsoever. It was reported by another Instagram account. I'm not going to call it a news outlet. Another Instagram account that the fight was confirmed. We see it reposted by both fighters on their social media. So we'll take that as being proof that fight is going to happen. Obviously, early prelim. Don't know if it's going to be live and or taped, but we will see Joe Landman back, power slap number 7.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Man, last time I saw Joe, that dude was built like a fridge, man. He was as wide as he was tall. So he's been working. Like he put in the time and the effort. This new Hawaiian guy, he's got quite the resume on him as well. He's been involved with combat sports to an extent. So it'll be cool to see. I like seeing Joe. He's a fun dude to have around. His attitude's awesome. And we confirmed with Frank as well. So we do know that one's happening. And if going back to our early point, they decide to do the 12 instead of the 8, then we might get to see Joe on the card, early prelims.
Totally. Definitely. Any rule changes, anything that you want to see this time around from power slap number 7 that kind of stood out to you? Because I'll tell you, for me, seeing the amount of DQs that took place.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for the matches, we got G's versus Trap Daddy Gambino.
No, I feel you, bro. It was different. It felt like the rules were really applied at Power Slap 6. They really stood 10 toes down on those rules, and we got to see how difficult of a sport this actually is. Totally. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not just, you're not just getting up there and slapping. And a lot of the new guys, unfortunately, it was a lot of the new guys from Road to the Title 2 that didn't fare so well under the lights, so to speak.
Yeah, totally. Cleaning that up, I definitely think it is a must. I don't know if they have to stiffen the penalties, for some of these infractions. One thing that they do in Slap Fight Championship that I think is quite unique: if you club somebody, you lose your next strike. Your opponent gets to hit you twice in a row.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, that's quite a punishment, if you ask me. That if you get clubbed in round 1, you're getting hit back twice in a row. You're giving somebody the opportunity to club you, or to clock you twice, back to back, and to put you away. Like, I think that would be a massive deterrent in power slap for guys clubbing.
Yeah, use the correct term, like the deterrent there. Hopefully Power Slap 6 taught guys that the match could end very, very quickly and not in your favor if you're not on your P's and Q's. You know what I mean? Like, that has to be the biggest deterrent. It could be financial, it could be anything else. Getting DQ'd should be the biggest deterrent, and it should scare the shit out of all of you into performing properly.
Yeah. Well, that's where they put in where if you get those 2 penalties, and you're automatically DQ'd. in a in a 3-round match. So, we'll see. I mean, we got an OG hanging there in the wings.
I see him lurking.
A guy that knows very, very well about some of this stuff. So let's bring him in. The Hawaiian Hitman.
Yeah.
What's up,
Hello,
brother?
how you guys doing?
We're doing good, man. We're doing really good. I want to talk about your match, my man. How excited are you? You get off that couch yet?
Yes, sir. Real excited. What was that again?
I said, did you get off the couch yet?
Oh man, still hibernating.
You got 10 days, so I mean, never too late, is it?
Right. Yeah. It's never too late. Always ready. Actually, I'm always ready, so don't have to get ready.
Yeah. What's that? Double shot of Viagra and Cialis, ready to go? Always ready?
Nah, just some of the weed. That's it.
Okay.
That's awesome,
my man. What do you think of Evian Scott?
Oh, Evian, man, I watched his fight with Manu and his fight with Ellis, with Brian Ellis, and he stepped it up from Manu's fight. He stepped it up with Ellis, but I mean, he didn't knock nobody out yet. But I mean, I feel like he's planning on like my left, but I don't think I'm gonna use that left. This left is special. It's for people who are talking a lot of shit. I'm gonna use the left. But I think he's a cool guy, and man, that house, the road to the title, really made a lot of the boys, really put the boys out there, because the big boys league, they're super heavyweight, we're all big guys, but we're all nice. Everybody's nice. The nicest guys. So I mean, Evian, I hope he brings a war, and I just hope that it's a one slap Medevac for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's really it.
Man, what was that call like when you got that call? Because I know you've been sitting for a minute, bro. I can't imagine that you weren't itching to compete this whole time, watching the super heavyweight division develop and all these guys. What was that like, finally getting that call, man? What was going through your head?
Man, I kind of knew it was coming up, but I just didn't expect it, to come up already, or like right after, my suspension. But I mean, God blessed me with another opportunity. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna run with it. So, this time I know it's gonna be my last chance, my last opportunity to prove that I belong. I belong in the champion spot. Not just belong in the area. I belong at the champion spot, and I believe I've put my mind to it, and I believe real hard, and I'll get there. I'll get to that spot. And I like the Hitman, because most of the time the Hitman is silent but violent. So they come in, once they get their opponent's name, number, they take them out, and that's it. You don't hear about the Hitman until the job's done. So I'm kind of excited for this opportunity to come up again, and I just hope that I prove, or like show the world again that it's a Hawaiian power, Hawaiian spiritual power, the mana that runs through me that I'll be showing everybody. Because one thing I want to say, the reason why I'm here, the reason why I'm in the position I am in, is because of God, because my almighty Savior. Because if I'm afraid of what He can do, He can take all this away from me in 1 second, and I'm afraid of that. So I'm taking every precaution. Now I want to be a little bit more vocal, but I mean, God got my back, so I really don't have to, prove myself like how the people do in the house. So I mean, I'm just excited, like that phone call. I was going to tell the whole world already and then I posted it, and my brother actually, he told me, oh, post something, because AJ posted something. Post something because this other person, slap fighter, post something. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll post something. Hold on. And I tagged everybody, and not even 5 minutes. Erica hit me up. Take it down. Take it down. Take it down. Well, I was excited. I want to tell the whole world. So this opportunity is big.
Yeah.
It's bigger than the last time. The last time I was there. So
okay, I was just going to ask you that because I mean, going up against Slap for Cash was a highly anticipated match. A guy with over 1 million followers on Instagram.
right.
This is a bigger opportunity and a bigger match for you than that was.
Yeah, kind of, because like now I know the course this can take, you know, if I knock the guy out or if he knocks me out. So I know this opportunity is my make it or break it, or my show everybody that I'm him, you know, I'm the guy that can become, you know, a people's champion or something, you know, like I can become somebody in this sport. Because man, they like, I like how they film everything. They do all this stuff. I ain't got much about my family, but you can't film my family. But I like how they did in the house. They film all the fighters, their family, what they do, and I like that with what they're doing now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you know what you got to do? You got to give us an opportunity because we haven't had it yet. We got to go with you in Vegas. We got to eat some Hawaiian food. We got to film it. We got to let the guys, we got to let the, you know, the loyal followers of Slap News get a little behind the scenes of you, my man. I mean, I think people want to know more about who you are, what you got going on, and let's introduce them to some of that, you know, cuisine from the island. How about we do that? Can I lock you in?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can do that. We even can, you know, hit up my mom because she's a caterer, so she caters, you know, parties, and she makes desserts, everything. So we can put that on the line when you guys come down. So
for sure,
we can do something.
Amazing. Yo, listen.
Hey,
so you said the word champion a couple times, and you said you belong in the realm of champions. Now, this comes up all the time when your brother's on with us. So to be in that realm of champions and super heavyweight of Power Slap, you're gonna have to see your brother. Now, we've talked to him. A lot of people have gotten his opinion. Where do you stand on that?
I mean, it would be a great fight for us. You know, I'm probably retire him from his, you know, long-awaited retirement. But I mean, it would be a good thing. But I don't think it would come early or like, you know, he probably will defend his belt. I probably will, you know, fight maybe 4 or 5 more times or whatever. Then maybe get the chance. But you know, but when we get to talk with Dana White, then, you know, because he making a lot of money off of everything else, you know, all the views, everything else. So he making all that change. So, you know, might as well me and my brother make a little bit more change. So, you know, he'll be well off. My brother be well off with one fight. You know, not just we be taking a couple fights for 10 grand, whatever. But, you know, we want to make a fight where this fight will generate a lot of money. We know it's going to generate, because that's just to have that as a headline, like a brother against, oh man, that. But I mean, my parents don't want to see it. Really, they don't want to see
it. They've seen you guys fight enough, eh?
Right. Oh, but now we can make money for this, so why not? Why not? You know, that's why I want to mention to a lot of people that my fight with Slap for Cash, I used my left hand because I was in a car accident. I was in a car accident, blew up my whole right shoulder, hand, fractured my hand in the middle over here, and I was like 4 weeks out before Slap for Cash, so I couldn't use my hand. Took 5 weeks to heal, but I used my left. I'm like, nah, I gotta get to this money. I'm gonna use my left. And you know, he thought that was my weak hand, but I play drums, so both my hands gotta be same. You know, you gotta be able to play drums with your left and your right hand. So, you know, I like ambidextrous, they call it. So, you know, I'm training my right and my left, but my left is more for the special guys. They really need it.
Okay, so if you pull out the left in this match, we know you're digging deep.
Right. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. But I mean that the left hand that I hit him with, I don't know, that surprised me. Like Because I hit him first. The first slap I hit him, boom, dropped him with no power. So I was like cheering myself on, like, yeah, let's go. Like, watch this, guys. Like, come on. And then I hit him again, and that was with almost all the power that I had. So and to implement all of those, that same technique for my right, I know it would be something to talk about. It would be something to talk about. Everybody would see why I'm trying to become a champion.
Yeah. I hear, my man. I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad we were able to have you on. Anybody in the chat, you have any questions for the Hawaiian Hitman, we'll get them to stick around here for the 30 seconds. But yeah, I'm glad we were able to lock it down. We're going to make sure we get your mother on camera. Be great to talk to her. We're going to ask her
we can have one luau.
Her two sons go against it one day. We'll get her opinion. We'll throw back some Hawaiian cuisine. Make some of that happen. But really excited to kind of see you get back in here, get in the fold. We know that you blew up in stardom. Your social numbers went through the roof. I know seeing you at the hotel afterwards, you're showing me your phone. You couldn't even use it because you're getting blown up so much.
Yeah, I missed so much that first freaking couple hours. I missed so much.
Totally. All right, brother. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for joining us.
Aloha, guys. Yes, you.
All right, man. See you in Vegas.
Appreciate it.
All right, Jeeves. Let's do a quick roundup. We're getting long in the tooth here. Coming up now, almost 70 minutes. We've got 17 people still watching us, which is amazing. Listen to us two doofuses talk about power slaps. So appreciate you all as always. But a little bit of breaking news that we kind of see here. But Brandon Bordeaux has confirmed that he will be a power slap number 7. What could that mean?
I hope it's what I've been asking for, is him and Wesley. I'd love to see him in a match. He's a powerful guy. Could we see him as like an alternate or something? Like, would he announce it if he was an alternate? That would be interesting. But man, if anything from Power Slap 6, I think we definitely want to see more of Brandon Bordeaux.
Yeah, I think that's very much so. I think Brandon Bordeaux could be there, as an alternate as well. Could he be fighting Colton? That would be a move up in weight. That would definitely be a move up. He'd have to go up to, light heavy to do so, which, with how he was looking last time, very well could be possible, actually.
Yeah, he holds a good amount of mass, and I think he could put some more on. Like, he's very lean, so he would just have to tweak his diet a little bit and maybe, like, take away the clean for a bit and just put on a little bit extra weight. That could be interesting.
Yeah. Brendan Mahone, who we also know is going to be there in Power Slap, be there at Power Slap number 7. So he reached out, not sure what he's going to be up to at this particular moment. But
what weight class is he?
155.
150. Okay.
Yeah, 155. So,
okay.
So he's going to be there. Not really sure what that is all about. We thought we were going to see Robert Trujillo, and then we didn't.
Yeah.
So
I feel like Robert Trujillo, man, he brings views. So and he brings highlights. So put him on every card you can. Find him opponent. Jimmy Jumps is ready. Find him other guys. Just keep Robert on cards, man.
Yeah. So we've got those two. We talked about them being there. The crazy Hawaiian's not sure if he's going to be in the house to see his brother compete.
Yeah.
So who knows? But we do know John Davis obviously is one of the coaches. Did they officially announce the second?
I know what caught your eye. It's this.
You know a guy? Okay. You know. Okay. But what do we got? We got Robert versus myself. Considering I walk around at like 210 pounds, 200.
Yeah, it's deceiving, bro. Yeah, you're a heavy guy.
But it's possible. But all good. I mean, we're getting long in the tooth here. Let's wrap it up once again. I know there was talk about next week. We will have a show next week. I may not be on it. I may be a special host or a guest, but I think, as we know, Jeeves and our man Ding will be back. They'll probably be holding it down. I'll come in as a special guest. I'll already be there in Vegas on the Tuesday, 3:00. As always, right here. Appreciate you all. Much love. Signing off. We'll see you guys again next week. big week to come. It's fight week, baby. Let's go. It is fight week.